Florida. We have Aliyah, who is listening. Aliyah, welcome to the program.
Hi, it's Aaliyah, but that's okay.
Hi, Aliyah.
Hi, so my question has to do with women's role in ministry.
Uh-huh.
And in the Bible, I particularly have a question about a verse. Can I read it?
Sure.
It's Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, and it says 34. Women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says.
So you're in 1 Corinthians, what chapter?
14. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 34.
So women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says. If they want to inquire about something, they should ask their own husbands at home, for it is a disgrace for a woman to speak in the church.
Yeah. You're wondering, does this mean a woman can never speak in a church? Whenever you see a verse like this that says something and you go, wow, look at other verses and find out where the preponderance of evidence is. Now, is this verse saying that a woman is not allowed to open her mouth and make any kind of verbal communication in a holy place? I don't think so, because there are places where it has women praying in church. You've got the story where Joseph and Mary bring baby Jesus to the temple in the Gospel of Luke, and Anna, who is a prophetess, is there, and ostensibly she speaks. Otherwise, why would they bring her into the story? You know, you've got the daughters of Philip that did prophesy. I don't think this is saying that a woman could never speak in the church, but the Bible does say there's a distinction in the roles in the law between men and women. And the problem, the Corinthian church evidently had some outstanding problems, because you had men and women going to the church. The men did not sit with the women. If you travel through India and another Middle East, you'll see in many of the churches, the women and men don't sit together. They want to make sure and keep your eyes on the Lord, and they got different places. The Jews had the courtyard for the women. They could pray. I think the services were becoming disruptive, with women calling across to their husbands and teaching them publicly what Paul was saying. And Paul said that's kind of humiliating them.
Well, you also have the verse, same chapter in verse 40, and I think this summarizes what Paul's counsel is to the church. He says, let all things be done decently and in order. And if you read on, he's addressing certain issues that were prevalent in the church in Corinth. And it appears that their church services could get a little out of hand, with people saying things or calling out or disrupting the service. And so in that context, Paul is actually addressing a specific situation in a specific church. It's not necessarily applying to all churches, because we do have other examples in the Bible. For example, Hannah, where she went to the temple and she was praying. It's not meaning that a woman can never speak in a church setting.
You there, Leah?
Yes, that clears it up.
All right. Hey, we do have a book we'll send you that addresses this verse. I wrote this, about 8-10 years ago. It's called The Role of Women in Ministry. And, of course, God calls men and women into various roles of ministry. He wants every believer to be using their gifts. It answers some of these questions. We'll send you a free copy.
The number to call for that is 800-835-6747, and you can ask for the book called The Woman's Role in Ministry, and we'll be happy to send that to anyone who calls and asks. We've got Glenn listening from Ohio. Glenn, welcome to the program.